Hey folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and right now we're going to work on a bracelet using our bargain bead box for March Art Deco Luxe. It's going to be a little different, but it's really going to be pretty. I'm pretty sure you'll like it. Let's turn down and we'll get started. Use some Champagne Extreme Flex, Soft Flex medium beading wire for this, and I'm just going to put it right on the spool because I'm not sure how much I'm actually going to want. So we'll just get our spool out. And here's our lobster claw and our two jump rings, a tiny and a medium. And then we have a couple of crimp tubes in here. There's the second one. So those are not, of course, part of the pattern, so we're just going to leave those up there. And all these little spacers are from my cache because I used all of the spacers from the box on my necklace. So what we're going to do, this is our focal. We're going to have a flat spacer on either side of that. And then we're going to put one of these gold hexagons, also from my stash. Whoops, little guy, get out of the way. Then it'll be a rondelle and a ball spacer from my stash. All of the spacers are from my stash. So now we're going to start. Oops, I forgot one. We're going to put one of the. I was thinking it was too monochromatic there at the bottom here. So there is what we're going to do here. And then we're just going to put in a chevron, a spacer, a chevron, spacer, chevron. Same on the other side. Chevron, spacer, chevron. And you've noticed I pointed them in opposite directions. Now we're going to do 3, and then we're going to put a new rondelle in. And then we'll do 3 again, going the opposite in each direction here. And it looks like I have a couple of extra ball spacers. Let's see, did I have any particular place I wanted those to be? That they aren't at. I don't think so. Oh, yes, I do. They should be right here on either side of this rondelle. So now we'll just string this up just as we have it laid out here. So let's just start stringing. Oop, come on, the ball spacer. Fine, I'll just grab you. Come on, go on. I think these make an interesting pattern with the chevrons, and especially with the little ball spacers, because they sit right in the curve of the chevron, and really look nice in there. So come on, ball. Now I'm not sure if this is going to be long enough, but I will tell you that because of the flatness of all of these pieces, other than our big focal here, it won't pull into the middle. So it will probably be more accurate than if it had lots of big beads as far as sizing is concerned. Come on, baby. Your hole is right there. There we go. Now I'll show you what I mean here by that statement. If you turn this on its side, you'll notice that they're all running relatively flat, except for our rondelles and this guy. And see how this guy goes into the middle when you come around here? He's going to take up space because he's going to lean on your arm and he's going to pull back out of being snug against your arm. So he's going to leave a little hollow there on either side of himself, which in turn makes the bracelet need to be larger to go around a wrist and stuff. These little flat ones are perfect. They'll lay right against your arm, giving you no argument whatsoever for sizing. And there is our bracelet. It just doesn't look long enough to me, though. We may have to put in a couple more sections. Let's see. It's our ruler. I don't want to put in too many sections, of course, because we don't want it to be too long. Well, that's almost 6 inches right there. And by the time we get our lobster claw on and our crimps, because the crimp is going to take up about, at least a 1/16 of an inch, maybe even an 1/8, because it's got to come around and then crimp there. So let's see what it says on the sizer. Here's our sizer. So we pull this up around both sides. Ooh, it's definitely not there. Even with the lobster claw and things, we may want a little bit more. Let's get out a couple of rondelles, and I am going to cut this off the spool right here because I'm sure we've got plenty now. So we'll cut it off the spool. We'll get out a couple of rondelles and we'll see where that sits us at. Cut out those rondelles, we'll put one on either side, and then we'll see how long we end up being. We don't want to be any bigger than 6.5 at the most, though, on this, because it does still need all its hardware on. So let's get the ruler back out and see what it says. And it's just a little over a 6 now. So I think this is where we're going to stop. We're going to put our hardware on, and we should be good to go. So we're going to put on crimp tube and this jump ring. And we want the jump ring in the loop, so we got to make sure we get it over to this side again. There we go. Put her through the crimp tube. And get it about where we want it as far as length is concerned. That's a good spot for it, so we'll crimp it right here on this side. Put the crimp tube inside the middle of your magical crimpers and just squish. And I actually got that longer than I wanted to, but I betcha I can't pull it through anymore because I bet it's there. These crimps crimp pretty hard right off the bat. Oh, I did manage to bring it in a little bit, good. And then we will crimp again, and then you go around in a circle on your crimp tube until you can't get it to crimp anymore or to squish down anymore. And when that happens, you should have a little bead right here. And now we'll tug it here, and it seems to be good now. So what we're going to do is we're going to feed this excess wire. I'm going to cut a little of it off. I don't know how well these beads will take a double wire in them. So I know the rondelle will, but I don't know about the chevron. Come on, ball spacer, I'm pretty sure you'll take double too. Yep. And so will the chevron, so cool. So we're all through on that side. Now we need to put on this side. So go down there, and then we're going to use this teeny weeny little to hold our lobster claw on. And I always put the lobster claw on a jump ring, and that is because I do not want the lobster claw to possibly break, and then I'm not able to change it because it is on there wired right in. So if it's in a lobster claw, then you don't have that problem because you can just change your lobster claw out as opposed to having to restring the whole thing. So crimp this side. Now normally I would have checked it to make sure what size, more of a sizer before I finished crimping, but I decided this one was probably good because we've already pretty much measured it all out. So let's check that crimp. That looks to be good. Cut our extra wire off right here. And then we will open up that little jump ring and put on our lobster claw. Now this is a dinky one. And if we need a little bit more space, we could actually use a larger jump ring both here and on the other side. And if we do need more space, I probably will switch the other side to a larger one. But there we go. Now we just need to open this and put it on our ring. And there's our bracelet. And it does look a little small, doesn't it? Let's see what size it ended up being. Oh, it's definitely a little small. So what I'm going to do is I am going to change those jump rings to slightly bigger ones, and they'll bring it down here closer to the 7 then. Just change this one over on this side, the medium-sized one, to this big one here. And we will see if that we still need a little more space, and if so, then we'll take this one from this side because it's a little bigger than the teeny one, and put the lobster claw on it instead of the Now see what I meant about changing things out when you when you don't hook them directly too. So there's a much bigger jump ring. Then we'll take our little guy here. We'll open up our lobster claw and hook him onto this bigger one. And now let's see what size it ends up being with the bigger one on there. See, we did gain a little bit. We're not still right there at 7, which I would prefer, but we're good enough. I'm not going to change the other one, because if I really wanted to make this a little bit longer, I could add a little bit of I could add a extender chain, and then it would be just fine. So we are going to leave this as it sits right there. Isn't that pretty? That is our bracelet using our Bargain Bead Box Art Deco Luxe. Isn't that pretty? I like it. So there we go. There is our bracelet using our Art Deco Luxe Bargain Bead Box for March. Isn't that pretty? Hope you liked making this with me. I liked making it. I think it turned out really cute. I wasn't sure how I was going to like these green chevron beads, because I'm used to seeing these chevrons in like a more metallic color, or the black that hematite normally is. But I really like this bracelet. I think it turned out nicely. I hope you like it as much as I do. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we have been using the Bargain Bead Box for March Art Deco Luxe. Bye-bye.